Hello there, peace. Hello there, peace be upon you. Welcome to Rational Religion. Today we're asking London, do you have a soul? Come on. That's the police. Let's go that way. Do you have a soul?
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure about it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you have a soul?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. I like this guy.
Do I believe I got a soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does Santa have a soul? We don't know. We don't know. Do you have a soul?
I hope so.
Ooh. I hope so. A soul.
Yeah. Do you think
Everyone's
you have
got
a soul? You do. Let's ask Santa. Let's ask Santa if Santa's got a soul.
Tell me, what happened?
Do you have a soul?
No.
My question is, do you have a soul?
Yeah, I do actually, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got a soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you mean by that, may I ask?
That when I die, my soul will live on in
Excellent.
something else.
What makes you sure about it?
Certain feelings sometimes in life. I think it's a feeling, not a knowing. Yeah.
Sometimes there's something you just cannot explain that happens to you. So yeah, I think there's something more.
Excuse me, mate. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a quick question? Do you believe that you have a soul?
it's not a soul.
It's too deep for that, is it? This lady. See how this goes. That girl's too quick. She's way too quick. A lot of people intrinsically feel like that we are something beyond the body and the brain.
Yeah, I think we are definitely something beyond the body and the brain. Emotions a big bit. I think if it was just a body and a brain, no soul, it wouldn't be quite as meaningful, and life wouldn't be quite as meaningful.
Soul, like something inside. Yeah.
So you don't think you're just your brain, just your body. You think that you're something more than that.
Yeah, something inside, deep inside.
Yeah. Does that affect you in any way? Does it, change the way that you live your life at all?
I don't know. I just try to be a good person, be the best person that I can. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And is that from like a religious point of view? Is that just a general sense that you have that that's how you should live?
It's more like a general sense, like just be a good person.
Yeah, it does. Like, as I say, I'm just trying to have a decent life, to make the most of it, and I hope others, in a way.
You know what I've noticed? You need to find people that are looking vaguely happy. Not that guy. Oh, this guy. Excuse me. Do you have a soul?
No.
No.
I think a soul is a socially constructed idea. So, do I have a soul? I don't know. It's a very difficult question. There's a moral idea of ethics we sort of all sign up to.
Yeah.
But the sort of spiritual concept of a soul is not something I believe in.
You immediately kind of went to emotions. You recognize that you can't really explain your emotions, your feelings, and even your consciousness by just saying we're electrical impulses in our brain.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, definitely. And it just, and I also love soul music, so it's probably part of it.
That's why I got into this stuff as well.
You send a letter to me.
I always send letters to you and you never answer.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Why no?
Probably because you're here, you're busy.
Maybe take the good address, understand?
I'm giving my parents' address. I'm sorry. So, do you have an idea of what causes your consciousness? So, do you think that your consciousness is purely the result of brain chemicals and electrical signals in your brain?
It could be. Yeah. Who knows?
What do you think that means for morality, for instance? Because our moral responsibility is usually around the idea of you have free will. So someone, hurt someone else, attack someone else. On that view, I'm training as a psychiatrist. The brain is about, if you're thinking about purely the brain, it's just about random brain chemical interactions. That's what I was recently told in my lecture. And it made me think, well, how can we have agency? And if we don't have agency, do we have no moral responsibility?
I think whether or not we have agency, if we accept that we don't, we see a breakdown in society.
Yeah.
So there's a sort of technical point about whether or not we really do have agency, and there's a sort of some very good studies. People who have sort of brain injuries and then go on to do sort of things that are very, very much not rational, and not very much in keeping with who they were before as a person. And that slightly suggests that actually it is, the chemicals in the brain which are driving their decisions.
My own view on that would be, because I'm, I guess what you call a dualist, so I believe you have a soul and a brain and a body, and they interact. So if you do have an impairment of your brain, it will affect your reason and your rationality. But that view allows me to also keep the idea that we have agency, and also gives me an explanation of some sort for consciousness. I don't know what you think about that. Do you think that's a plausible view? Do you think that's been disproved by science, or?
I think it is plausible. I think people who make claims that they have authority on this subject probably should be treated with some degree of skepticism.
Yeah, I'm a doctor. I'm training as in mental health, and I think it's actually important even for that area, because if we're just brains and bodies, then we don't have any free will. We don't have any actual ability to influence the world around us. But actually, if we understand that we do have a soul, there's something more to us, then it, reinforces this idea that actually we can have some kind of control. We can help ourselves and maybe help others. I don't know, what do you think about that?
I'll say nothing. I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I'll leave it at that. All right.
What do you think of the idea that after you die, that there's something that's going to survive?
I'm not sure. I don't really believe in life after death. I don't think.
I really like the thought of it, but the fact that there's not any evidence whatsoever makes it hard for me to believe in that.
Do you think it's something that we can have evidence for, direct evidence for?
I don't think so. I mean, otherwise we would have a proof that it exists or doesn't, which we don't. So in a way, it's something you have to believe in or not.
Is this from a religious background, or is this just kind of an intrinsic sense?
So for me, probably religious, yeah. I come from a Catholic and Muslim family, both sides. So there's always deep meaning, so I do think so. Yeah.
I'm not religious, but I'm definitely agnostic. So I think I like to think there's more to it, and with relationships and friendships, I think that to me that's kind of proof that we have souls.
Yeah.
That's great. If we have a soul, there's a possibility that when our bodies die, our soul doesn't die. Do you think that's plausible?
I think it makes sense. Yeah.
Maybe not on paradise, but I think there's another way where we just come back, maybe in another form, or
If you were, God forbid, the victim of some kind of crime, or you were witness to some kind of crime, would you think it's rational and reasonable not to get angry at that person? If you think it's a very clear, obvious crime, the person, could have not done it in the normal sense of speaking. But if you have the view that we are just brain chemicals, we have no real agency, do you think it would be irrational of you to feel outraged by that person's actions?
I think it would be a normal response, as we are not, we're not completely rational creatures. I think anyone who's been the victim of a crime, it's right to feel upset, even if that crime was sort of tragic lack of investment in, say, mental health care, or these sorts of things. Some people do manage to forgive those who have committed some very, very nasty crimes against them, which is very commendable. But I don't think everyone can be expected to do so.
Is it commendable if they had no choice in their action to forgive, though?
I think even stating the acceptance of the fact that they had no choice is a laudable move.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for speaking to me. What's your name?
Peter.
So I've just had a great time going around Marble Arch, asking people whether they believe that they have a soul. Remarkably, almost everyone said yes, and that was people from religious background and non-religious background. One guy said no, but I think the idea or the question of whether we have a soul is really important, because it's the fundamental question of whether there is more in this universe than simply atoms and molecules. Because if we are simply atoms and molecules and nothing else, then that means that we can't explain consciousness. We also don't have any agency. We don't have free will. We can't change our lives. We can't change anyone else's lives. All of our decisions would just be the result of random brain chemicals. Now, for me, I think that's a rather uninspiring view of the world, and actually I think it's profoundly false. The fact that we experience the world around us, the fact that we experience free will, to me is the proof that we are more than mere atoms. And I think that whatever our consciousness is, whatever the source of our consciousness is, we can call that our soul. And it makes me wonder, if we do have a soul, then maybe that soul can survive the death of the body. I'm here at Marble Arch for Rational Religion. Back to you in the studio, Kelly. cool.
It's gone on YouTube, bro.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, what do you? I subscribe. What is
it's
it?
called Rational Religion.
Rational Religion.
Yeah, check it out.
Alright.
Cheers.